Hello and welcome to another open source workplace video. If this is your first time coming across the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted to all upcoming videos. Today, very happy to have Andrew Mawson back with us. Andrew is the owner of Advanced Workplace Associates. Andrew, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Steve. How can we do anything else? The beginning of the football season is here. That's
Uh,
soccer to all of you watching in America. So yeah, it's a good day. Yeah.
it is a great day. It is a great day, and both our teams are playing today. Manchester United are playing today, so it should be fun.
It should.
So let's see how we get on today. And if it's not a good day, maybe I don't post this. I cut this piece out, so people will know whether they're into it or not, whether or not this has been been
Indeed.
successful or not.
Indeed. Yeah.
But you know, this week you've launched Advanced Workplace Virtual Workforce
Mm.
seminar, webinar, and research. So how did that go for you?
Yeah, we're great. I mean, as you know, we've had a long-standing relationship with this organization, the Center for Evidence-Based Management, and they've done a fantastic job at reviewing all the research around the world on managing virtual organizations and teams. And we've put our practical lens on that. And the report that we generated on was launched this week, and we had a fantastic webinar. It was really well supported, and it's out there. And we've managed to get quite a lot of attention in the press as well, which is important to spread the word, because I think what we're trying to do is to bring some science to what is a often opinion orientated kind of view of the world, if you like. And so, yeah, I'm very pleased that we got it out this week. It's been great.
No, that's great. And obviously, yes, you're bringing science to it. And obviously, science is embedded in your research.
Mm.
Most organizations today are doing surveys to look at the new ways of working, how their teams will be working, who wants to come back to the office, who doesn't want to come back to the office.
Mm.
So, what have you learned from your research? And also, how can organizations get access to understanding how to apply that research to
Mm.
their team and their organizations?
Well, I mean, I think what the research tells us is that there are really six factors that contribute to creating what we'll call psychological safety. And those six factors matter regardless of whether you're in the office or in an airplane or working from home or whatever. But the issue is that when you start to work away from each other, where you're seeing less of each other and there's less subliminal information, you have to work harder in order to replace the things that you would have got in the office. And that's the key finding. Plus, there are some other things around bias, what is known as availability bias, and personality plays its part as well. So, what we've, I think we talk about this as research, but I keep seeing it as being it's almost like nature in a strange way. Um, when a pharmaceutical company goes searching for a solution, to create a new drug to address a particular topic, they often go into looking at nature and looking at different plants and goodness knows, and they eventually come up with something. And they don't invent things; they just discover. And I think what we've done is kind of discovered, really what makes organizations tick. And these factors are almost like nature. We will run the study again in 6 months' time, a year's time. The same factors will come flooding through. So I think what the science is beginning to tell us, just like nature is telling us, that there are certain ways to live our corporate lives. And what's interesting when you look at the research in the round, it starts to give you a kind of a blueprint for how you should not only run your organization, but to some degree how you should manage yourself as a leader. And that's the exciting part of it for me. And as you say, one of the things, a lot of people look at the report and will say, "Yeah, that's a good report. It makes lots of sense." But how do I turn that into reality?
Mm.
And we've been giving a lot of thought to that, and we've built out quite a number of workshops which are highly gamified that help leaders and teams to be able to start understanding those factors that make a difference, and also how good they are at them. And in parallel, we've also created kind of an online survey tool that an organization can use, or a team, or a location, to assess how well it does against the factors that we know matter, and then really put those ones that are really key under the looking glass for virtuality. Um, so getting some education, some measurement, and then we also would developing a playbook which sets out the steps that you could then go and put in place, and of course training and workshops and all those sorts of things are a key part of it. Just getting more people to understand it and build out their capability in a strong way, particularly as companies are starting to do more virtual working. These things start to become more critical.
So, I mean, what you've just been saying, surveys, creating that, understanding what the goals are, and understanding as well that, the six factors apply whether you're working from home or whether you're
Mm,
in the office. But as organizations evaluate new ways of working, what actually office space is needed,
mm,
and as they look at these surveys and also provide surveys to their employees,
yeah.
they may do it today in one state of time. What's your viewpoint on the frequency or when you do those surveys?
Well, I mean, certainly the survey that we're working on that we've now built, I think you probably do that once a year or something. I mean, I think what you do it at the beginning to try and get a sense of where you are, and then I think you put in place a lot of initiatives to try and improve yourself, regardless of where you are on the scale actually, and you measure again and you keep doing it, and it shouldn't be seen as kind of a remedial thing. It's a bit like being a top class sports person. You want to try and constantly improve, and if these are the things that make a difference to your performance, which we're very clear that they are, then these are things you need to focus on. And I think what we find is that organizations are focusing on all sorts of things, but they're not often focused on the things that science tells us make a real difference. And that's what we're trying to encourage people to understand, that this isn't just another piece of research. This is actually this is the kind of the nub of what organizations need to be good at in order to maximize the performance of their communities and their
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the more the organization is knowledge based, the more these things matter. And that's within the tool that we've developed, there is an assessment of your sort of knowledgeness, if you like, in the roles that are you're performing. So yeah, so and of course the physical workplace does play a part in all this. I mean, it's certainly not one of these things where everybody's I don't think everybody's going to be virtual all the time, but I think we're going to see more of that. But the physical workplace does provide, an opportunity for lots of things. And in the context of these factors, certainly social cohesion, the ability to connect with people, the ability to know people as people, to be able to generate warmth and trust and all those sorts of things, they're possible to do when you're working virtually, but there's no doubt about it. If you use the physical workplace as a kind of a tool in doing that, then it seems to me that's one of its values anyway.
Do you think those people or those organizations that take the survey will be able to adjust the physical space, manage the virtual space in a much more
Mm.
effective way?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think what we've seen, I think, is that when you understand where you are, then of course you have a number of tools to play. I mean, one tool is education, another tool is the physical space. Can you create the physical space such that it enables you to achieve some of the things that the science tells us you need to achieve? Yeah, you can construct a workplace so that it, engenders the ability for more people to connect when they're all in, for instance, and you can create the right atmosphere and mood. Um, just as you can use technology tools. There are some really good technology tools around that you can use now to connect with people in a much more effective way. So I think what these factors do, I think, and what the report does really, it gives you a kind of blueprint for, well, it gives you a kind of a design brief in a sense. And our thesis is that everything in organizations, from space to technology to behavior to management practice, should all be orientated to maximize your ability to achieve on these factors that we now know create this psychologically warm environment so that people can be authentic, they can be open, they can be themselves, they can challenge each other a bit, they can share, they can, and organizations also need to be shaped like that because it seems to me a lot of organizations, particularly kind of command and control structures, actually create the conditions under which people don't share and where there is division and where, social cohesion is a little bit harder to achieve. And I think we need to take a good look at that because, yeah, I think there are now different models for organizing that don't rely on some great pyramid of power, which, I think are being shown to work pretty well in some organizations.
Yeah, I'd love to dig into that a little further, perhaps on our next video. But Andrew, thank you as always, and we'll provide links to the study, to the webinar, and also ways to connect with you and Advanced Workplace Associates in the description below. So please do go check that out and reach out to Andrew. Andrew, as always, thank you. I appreciate
Pleasure.
your time, and let's hope we're both happy at the end of the day today.
Indeed so, indeed.
All
Enjoy.
right, take care.
Yeah, okay.